Wow, what an evening. To look around this room and see Admiral Mullen, former chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Neller, Commandant of the Marine Corps, Ambassador Mohib, the Afghanistan ambassador to the United States. I'm truly blown away. I want to start by thanking our amazing board of directors who provide priceless vision and valued guidance, which fuels our continued trajectory. And most importantly, Alex touched on the people he works with at J&J, and that's the lifeblood of what makes an organization go. And I can't say enough about the staff at the Travis Manion Foundation. Many of you are here in the room with us tonight, and I want to thank you for your dedication to improving the lives of veterans and survivors, while also ensuring the next generation is imbued with the character of these brave military veterans and their families. Your endless drive and tireless work ethic continues to amaze me every day, and I can't thank you enough for your dedication to our mission. The Travis Manion Foundation started with one person and 5 simple words: if not me, then who? Those words have inspired hundreds of thousands of people, who we call Spartans, to join the movement and redefine America's national character. I am so proud to stand before you tonight to highlight our shared success toward that vision. Our nation has been challenged many times throughout its history, from the Revolutionary War to the Civil War to the war on terrorism. America's survival has never been a foregone conclusion, but we've persevered as a nation due to the will of the people to come together in unity. We've been at war for over 15 years since we were attacked on September 11, 2001. And we can never forget that there are still men and women in harm's way in the deserts of Iraq and Afghanistan and throughout the world, risking their lives so that we can be here tonight and put on our dresses and tuxedos and carry on our way of life. To all those who have served, and especially those currently deployed, let us recognize your dedication to preserving America's place as a beacon of freedom and equality. And some gave all. Brave men and women, like my brother Travis, who answered the call and ran towards danger. And for those of us left behind, we feel a huge sense of pride, but also a huge hole that we will live with for the rest of our lives. To the families of the fallen here tonight, thank you for joining us and allowing us to be inspired to carry on their mission. When your fallen hero is called, please stand so we can continue to share their inspiration. Pat and Doreen Capilleri and Allison Reiter, parents and sister of Lieutenant Valerie Delaney, United States Navy. Bob and Linda Craven, parents of Captain Scott Craven, United States Air Force. Jane Horton, wife of Specialist Christopher Horton, United States Army. Heather Kelly and Kate Fox, wife and sister of First Lieutenant Robert Kelly, United States Marine Corps. Amy Looney, wife of Lieutenant SEAL Brendan Looney, United States Navy. John and Gail Moscow, parents of Lieutenant Christopher Moscow, United States Navy. And Andrea and Megan Phipps, wife and daughter of Lieutenant Commander Michael Fitz, United States Navy. We will never forget your loved one's sacrifice, and we will make sure that their legacy lives on. Thank you. It's been nearly 10 years since I lost my brother Travis to a sniper in Iraq. My family still feels his loss every day, and that will never change. But I will tell you this, there is a triumph that comes with that pain, and there is a premium that comes with that loss. It's called legacy. And the tremendous opportunity that I've been given to continue the legacy of character left by my brother and all of our nation's fallen heroes has been the most valuable gift that I've ever been given. I say this confidently because I know firsthand how powerful this idea of legacy is. And I've seen the potential it has to completely redefine our national character. And I know how an entire generation's character can be powerfully molded by the giants whose footsteps we walk in every day. We've all struggled and experienced loss, whether it's the loss of our fallen hero or the struggle that every veteran experiences during his or her transition from active duty. Those challenges have the power to change us as individuals, but far more importantly, they have the power to change others. They have the power to inspire an entire generation of young adults, over 150,000 of them so far and growing every day, who have been impacted by our Character Does Matter program. And we owe it to the future of our country to share these stories of courage, leadership, and service, because this is what will create a stronger and more unified nation. And at that same time that we serve others, we come closer to thriving in our own lives. I want to share with you now the story of one of our Spartans who is thriving and leading this movement, which has had large-scale effects, the likes of which I never could have anticipated.
Just the energy of the stadium was amazing. The Eagles were dominating. I remember how I felt. I remember, how good of a time we had. I remember a lot of that night. Once we parked the car, walked up to the stadium, we could just hear the roar of the crowd. We were walking up the steps and the national anthem started. I saw Travis just stop dead in his tracks, take his hat off. It was a great moment to be with him here, listening to the national anthem, about to see a great Eagles football game, but it was also a heavier moment because I knew what lied in store for Travis. And it put things into perspective that, Travis was about to go back overseas to Iraq. We stayed to the very end of the game, so there was just thousands of people filing out of our section. When we got to the top of the stairs, I sort of jokingly put my hand on Travis's shoulder and said, "Hey, Trav, let me push you down these stairs and hopefully you'll break an ankle and that way you won't have to deploy." He got serious and he said, "Dave, I've been training. I'm prepared to go. If I don't go, then somebody who's less experienced is going to have to go in my place. If not me, then who?"
Travis was my younger brother by 15 months, but even though I was the older sister, I really was the younger sibling. I looked up to Travis in many different ways. He always set the example.
On April 29th, 2007, while fighting to rescue his fellow Marines from danger, Travis was killed by a sniper.
He was courageously pulling to safety 2 of his wounded teammates, and for his actions that day, he was awarded the Silver Star.
Brotherhood, sacrifice, love of country. It is my fervent prayer that we may honor the memory of the fallen by living out those ideals every day of our lives.
It was a couple days after Travis was killed, and we opened up our house to the press. And sitting on that couch was a reporter from the Enquirer. Dave shared with him that story of "If not me, then who?" It was a couple hours later, my dad pulled my mom and I into his bedroom, and he said, you know, from this moment forward, we move forward making sure that we do the right thing for Travis. This is what it's all about, and we move forward making sure we live by that idea.
Coming up, you know, I didn't feel like this neighborhood wasn't safe. It was just, you know, people that didn't have a lot. And now I look back and, you know, I don't know how safe it is now, but still looks like not a lot of development in the community. Still looks like, you know, a bunch of hardworking people that still don't have a lot. Now, I distinctly remember kind of a life-changing moment where I had a friend almost right here on this corner. He kind of got involved in drugs and he was killed. I just decided I wanted to work harder and you know, go and do something different with my life. I'm assuming this was 1636. 1634 would have been right here. My mom and myself and sister, we lived with my grandmother and grandfather, and it was a 3-story home. It was the one place where, you know, we at least felt safe. The store not far from here, one of my cousins and I remember we were there shoplifting, 10 years old, and we got caught. And the owner called our parents, and I remember just being on punishment for the entire summer. His punishment wasn't as hard as mine. You know, he ended up continuing down a life of crime, and I ended up going in another direction. I initially thought about going into the Marines after high school. The Marine Corps, you know, honor, courage, and commitment, you know, when you think about those values and you live them on a daily basis, they cannot help but be ingrained in your system. You think about the people that are highly dependent on you, that are surrounding you, you know, the platoon that you are a part of, the men and women that you serve with, you know, it's about not letting them down. It provided a lot of opportunity and helped establish a foundation for me, and in short, Marines changed my life. My greatest inspiration is my mother, by far. Well, her thing was education, you know, would open doors that ignorance would keep closed. She would always tell me that education would open doors that ignorance would keep closed. So she was really, really adamant about getting a good education. And she worked 3 jobs to send me to a Catholic school because she thought that education was better than the public school that was in the neighborhood that I grew up in. She taught me to, you know, walk past the things that were bad in the neighborhood that we grew up in and the neighborhood I lived in, and really start to get exposure to other things. And education brought those opportunities to me. So I'm fortunate to have had a mother that has had such an impact on my life like that, which is why I'm inspired and motivated to give back to individuals like all of you.
Let's go!
What did you get out of there? What did you get out of that then?
You're a pretty courageous person, and you persevered.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're a leader in your own right.
I say, if not me, then who, as it relates to communities like this, and to actually speak to our at-risk youth like myself, you know, to help them shape that character. I feel like I'm thriving on a daily basis because I do wake up with a purpose. I think about Keith Palmer, I think about, you know, that dash between the time I was born and the time I will die, and what will people say? How did I live? I want to be a man of character, a man of integrity, and when I think about character and the person Keith Palmer is, that's how I frame it up, and that's what I want to be known for.
So if each of you can commit to wake up every morning, to look at yourself in the mirror and to say, you know what, today, I'm gonna have an if not me, then who moment. That I challenge myself to be big in something little. And my brother Travis, he was very much big in the little things. And that helped him to be big in the big things when it really counted. And if you're applying this idea of being big in the little things every day, when that big challenge hits you, you're gonna be able to face it head on.
I didn't personally know Travis Manion, but when I heard the story and how he lived, honestly, I'm inspired.
When Travis spoke those 5 words at the top of the stairs, I knew that they were powerful words. Learning the ideals of service and sacrifice starts with an organization like the Travis Manion Foundation. And I know they're fully committed spreading those ideals all across the country.
The If Not Me Then Who movement, it's bigger than any one individual. Thousands of veterans and families of the fallen have come together to redefine what it means to live a life of character. And to think that those 5 words were the start of it all, were the start of this movement that he created. It's a pretty incredible legacy for one person to leave.
You know what? If not me, then who? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Motivating. Absolutely.
We have the incredible honor of having the gentleman in that video, Keith Palmer, here with us tonight, along with the rest of his Johnson & Johnson team. Keith, I think you're over there. Thank you so much for your dedication and all of the work you do to inspire the next generation to live with character. You know, at the end of the day, great challenges are not solved in a short time. There is no single event or brilliant tweet that will unite our country and ensure that we leave the next generation better off. But over time, with the work of the Spartans and all of our partners here tonight, and those watching this live broadcast around the world, we will thrive as a nation. I want to thank all of those who have led or participated in a 9/11 Heroes Run, served with us in your community, traveled on an expedition to far-off locations throughout our country and overseas, or developed character in our nation's youth. You are leading the If Not Me Then Who movement, and we are just getting started. We face great challenges. We are under the constant threat of large and small terrorist acts by very dangerous actors like ISIS. But I argue that the biggest threat isn't external. It's the social and economic divide that threatens to tear our country apart. And our veterans, comprised of every ethnicity, male and female, from every part of our country, will lead this fight just like our nation's veterans have answered every time we have called upon them. As I stand before you, more confident than ever that we will win through grit and resilience, with honor and integrity, to not only survive, but to thrive, individually and as a nation. Thank you all so much for being a part of this movement. May God bless you. May God bless those in harm's way today, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.